Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. I've got another tutorial for you today with the Beautiful You stamp set. I just did previously, we did the antique look one in my previous video if you wanted to have a look at that. And I did cover the paper piercing technique, so we're going to be using that again today, but we're going to make it into a shaker card, just for something different. So today we're going to be using this image of her in the water. We did the antique look, we used this one, and then I had a really bold background and we used that one. So you've got the three images of the lady, and you've got your background stamps if you want to use those, and you've got several sentiment. So it's a really good stamp set. It's got 13 images in all. So we'll just set that aside. So I'm going to be doing my base in Perfect Plum. So as usual, that's 11 inches by 5.5 inches and scored at 4 1/4. Okay, then we're going to have a piece of Early Espresso, which I explained how I do my mats on top of the base card. Remember, you just go down by 1/4 inch. And then I'm using a piece of Designer Series paper from the Falling in Love, which I've already gone ahead and stamped her on there to save some time. And using the same Designer Series paper, Falling in Love, I've cut her dress and hat out. So we'll get started. So I think we'll do the inside of the card. So to save some time, I've just stamped her in Stays On Jet Black ink, just on some envelope paper, so that can go straight in to your card. I have started using the envelope paper for inside the card because it's just to write on, and it's just a little bit more cost effective. You don't want to be using your really good cardstock all the time for inside the card. So then we're just going to eyeball that in. Just give it a little bit of a rub. Then while I do that, if I've got ink on my hands, it's not going to transfer to the lovely white inside. So we've already got our card there for the inside. Then we will attach the next mat, which is Early Espresso. Okay, so I just like to line it up on my grid paper. Just helps me have it a bit straight. I do normally use the multi-purpose liquid glue because it gives you that time to move it if you are a little bit crooked. But on tutorials, I do tend to use the snail more because it's just a little bit quicker. So then we'll take the girl, bring in my silicone mat. Now I've got her dress already cut out, and that is the Designer Series paper for that is Falling in Love. But a good tip is all those scraps, pieces of paper, don't throw them out because they come in ideal, especially when you're paper piercing. So I'll just pop her dress on, just line it up with the bottom. Like that. And then where the silicone mat comes in good when you, especially little pieces like this, is the glue just comes off of the silicone mat. So it's really well worth thinking about getting the silicone mat from Stampin' Up. So now I just want to pop her hat in. If you've got any glue coming over, just fold the glue underneath. Or you can remove it later with the adhesive remover. If you don't know what that is, that's this. It's like a rubber, and it removes the glue. But just make sure the glue's dry. Just had a bit of a daub of glue there. So you can see that's quite effective doing it with the paper piercing method. So I think I'm ready to put her on there now. I'll actually make the window first. So with the layering squares framelets, I've just cut out a framelit. And I've also cut out the framelit with the window sheet. You can get the window sheets from Stampin' Up. They come in 12 inch by 12 inch. So what I'm going to do there is I need my silicone mat once again. Turn it on the off side. Now we just want to make sure that we get plenty of glue so the silicone mats, so the window sheet, sorry, is going to stick. I use the silicone mat so much, like I never used to have it, and it's just makes life so much easier when you're doing jobs like this. So if I can get my fingers unstuck, just to get the window sheet on. Okay, so just decide which side, like that. So we're just going to line it up. I just tend to look in the corners. If we get any little bit hanging over, we can always cut that off. And if you don't have the die cut machine, you can always just cut out a shape to make a window card. Now that's stuck on there nicely. Now what I like to do is I like to get a tissue and really give my window sheet, when I'm doing a shaker card, a really good wipe. And what that does is it really gives you a nice shiny surface, like that. So then what we want to do is the foam adhesive strips. We just want to pull one of those off. We'll take that piece off of it, and you just need to take that all the way around. This has been such a lifesaver when making shaker cards. Before we only had the little dimensionals, and it was quite painful having to cut up the dimensionals. It's not going to go all the way around, so we'll have to cut another little piece. So we just need a little piece to go in there. Let's grab the scissors. So we'll just take off that little piece that comes off. Now we need to make sure that it's so there's no gaps. We don't want any gaps. I keep an old pair of scissors. These are Stampin' Up paper snips, but they have that much glue on them, so I just keep this pair for little jobs like this. Like that. Let's get that off my finger. Now I'm going to use, what I'll do is I will adhere my little girl first. So we're just going to put her onto the Early Espresso panel. Let's turn her over. Like that. Even like that, it's a nice card, but we need to bring in, I'm going to use the metallic sequin assortment. Now what I do when I'm doing a shaker card is don't think that you've got to put them in a square just because we're using a square shape. So what I do is I pile up a heap, because once I stick down that frame window sheet, these will, you may think I'm putting a lot on there, but once I've put the window sheet down, so I'm just going to make sure I've got everything in the frame. Now before you pick it up, just press down quite firmly onto, because you've got the foam strip underneath, and you won't be able to help but have some stick to the foam. Give it a bit of a shake, let them move around, and then you've got your shaker card. It will settle, like it's just, so there we've got our shaker card, and then what we're going to do is just put a sentiment on there, and we're just about finished. So I just used the layering oval framelits with this one. I used one of the scallops, stamped my image first and then cut it out. Then on this side we need to put some dimensionals, because so it brings them up to the height of the foam strips that's under the shaker card. Then just peel those off. Okay. And just add a little bit of snail on this end, just so it attaches itself to the frame. Might actually just put one other under there because it's quite high. It's quite, might need to put it's just with the foam strips there, it's quite high. I don't want it waving in the air. So I just make sure they're all off. Okay, we'll have another go. So where the snail is on this side, that's adhered to the corner of the frame, and that's a lot better because now if you can see the height of those dimensionals, we needed to put two on top of each other so that it's set up nicely on the card. And it will settle. The ones up here, they will come down. But that's the shaker card using the beautiful You stamp set. So I hope that you'll give that a try, and I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial today. Until next time, thank you for watching.